All right. Welcome, everyone, to 21 Days to the Life You Love. I am your host, Rockman, along with my beautiful wife, Janice Rockman, who will be joining us shortly. So excited to have you all on the call, the webinar, along here with us on the course tonight. Always like to start off by making sure everyone can hear me loud and clear. Please just type in your chat box, yes, if you can hear me loud and clear. Let me hear from you tonight to make sure you all can hear me. And then we are going to jump into this. All right, my brother Andre, what's up, my brother? So good to see you here tonight, back in class. Everyone's been consistent. Attendance has been superb. Super duper excited. Talani is in the house. We got Kristen here. What's up, Kristen? Good to see you. We got Tamara. Hey, Tamara. Hey, Donna. Hey, everyone. Welcome to class tonight. Yes, Tamara, you can hear me. I'm so glad. I'm so excited. And I'm so pumped. Let me tell you all something. We absolutely love the work that we do. And we hope that this has made a difference in your life. We've been teaching this course for 5, 6, 7 years now. And we hope that it's making a difference. We hope that we're getting better. We hope that we're doing this better for you all. I would love to see some feedback on, what the past 3 weeks have been like for you all. We're in week 3. There's only one more week left. Can you believe it? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. But I would love to hear you guys talk a little bit about if this has made an impact on you, if you've learned anything about yourself. And it's interesting. We've been teaching this course for so long. One thing that really popped in my head and that I really realized, and I've never said it before on any of our sessions except for last week. And one of the things that I said last week is this is really a study about yourself. It's really a study about yourself, to learn more about yourself, to learn more about who you are as a person. That's really what this is all about. And I hope that you're learning something about yourself. I hope that you're having some discovery, because the more you know who you are, the more you can connect to what your passion in life is, what you were called to do, what you were put on this earth to do. It takes a deep understanding of who you are. So I hope that some of you all have even thought about, hey, what is my purpose? I can tell you right now, Janice and I, we are living out our purpose. This is exactly what we're supposed to do. And, Janice and I have had some over the past, it's been pretty amazing. Over the past few days, we've had some really just phenomenal opportunities, some doors that have opened up for us that are just, tremendous. And, and we're thinking about, there was some time past where there were some opportunities that we turned down, that were some major, like nationally recognized opportunities that we turned down because, we felt like it didn't match our brand. And, God is starting to, and I know this isn't a spiritual webinar, but I can't deny my God, you know what I mean? So, God has really opened some doors for us that is right down the pathway of who we are at our core. And that means so much because, we turned down what looked like a great opportunity that some people would be like, man, you're crazy. I can't believe. And people have told us that, man, I can't believe you turned that down. Like, who knows what that could have turned into. But you have to do things in the right timing. And you have to make sure that it's in line with your passion and your purpose. So I hope that you all have been thinking about what is your passion? What is your purpose? That's really what 21 Days to the Life You Love is all about, is discovering you, discovering who you are, discovering those passions, discovering your purpose, and then going on and being the best person that you are designed to be. That's what it's all about, period. Nothing more, nothing less. That is what it's all about. And we always like to say every day the sun rises is a new appointment with destiny. Every single day the sun rises is a new appointment with destiny. Every day you have an opportunity to do it over again. Every day you have an opportunity to get up, to get started, to get it right. What are we doing in our life to get it right, to make a difference? What are you doing in your life? Are you making a difference in your life? And so with that being said, I want to welcome you all to week 3. Here we go, baby. Here we go. Week 3. We're about to dig into it. And we are really about to make this thing happen. Thank you so much, Tylenny. Tylenny said, congrats to you guys. Thank you so much. Just, continue to help us pray it through. Tamara says, I know this course is going to get me on track. Yes, get some clarity. You've got some clarity these past weeks. That's awesome. I love hearing that. And Kristen said ditto. I don't know if she's saying ditto to congratulations or ditto to the fact that the course is getting her on track. I think she's saying ditto to congratulations. Thank you all so much. We appreciate the love. We appreciate the support, and we just appreciate you all. We appreciate spending this time with you all, taking time out of your busy schedule to say, you know what, I want to spend a few weeks with the Rockmans and see if I can make a difference in my own life. And so I'm so grateful for you all for, being a part of this with us. And if you hear a little baby in the background, that's Maximus, my youngest born child. We do this. We build family and build these courses all at the same time. So bear with us if you hear a little bit of cooing in the background, but that's my little baby boy, Max. So tonight, what are we going to be talking about? Week 3, what are we going to cover? We're going to talk about finding a purpose behind your product, identifying your niche, your demographic. What's your marketing strategy? So now here, what are we going into? So we're kind of going into the life coaching portion of this, right? Because a lot of you all, you know that you're going to be certified as a life coach. You'll be receiving your certificates after the final week, which is next week. Can you believe it? We're already at the final week coming up next week. So exciting, guys. So you definitely have that coming up. So now we're going to get into a little bit of what that looks like and what it looks like to get your infrastructure set up. Setting up shops, systems, foundations, flow charts, office hours, bank accounts. How do you set up your insurance? There are going to be a lot of really cool things that we're going to cover tonight. We're also going to talk about effective communication and leadership. We're going to talk about timelines, tenacity, tact, grit, and follow through, really pushing through to what it is that you absolutely believe in. It's going to be super exciting. You all are going to love it. So Donna said, I have absolutely, with all caps, been on a journey of discovery these last few weeks. That's awesome. I've gotten some true clarity and some spiritual insights. And she says hi to Maximus. Maximus says hi right back to you. Max is my boy. My youngest born child, the second one in line to take over the throne, whatever that is. So, without further ado, here we go. Are y'all ready? Buckle up. Hold on tight. Here it is. 21 days to the life you love. Y'all thought I was going to say strawberry letters. That's my boy. But here we go. Let's rock and roll, you guys. What are we talking about tonight? Let's start with chapter 15, finding purpose behind your product. Let me ask you all a question, and I want to hear from you in the chat box before we continue. But, what have you all throughout these past few weeks, Have you thought about, and I know we really haven't pinpointed those items in the past few weeks, but have you all thought about, hey, what is my purpose? What is my niche? What am I supposed to be doing? Who am I supposed to be helping? You know, with this life coaching certification that I'm going to receive, um, you know, what market am I going after? You know, am I working with men like Brother Andre? I think he talked about working specifically with men, which I think is phenomenal. I think there are a lot of guys that really need a lot of help. And I think that's phenomenal. You know, we had one young lady that came on board with us, and she works with single moms because she was a single mother and she understood what those struggles looked like. But have you all thought about your purpose? I want to hear from you in the chat room. Talk to me about if you've thought about your purpose and if you feel that you know what your purpose is, and if you know the direction that you have been called to this world to take as it relates to branching out as a certified life coach. J Rock is in the building, Talon. She is in the building. Yes, she is. That's my boo. Nobody better ever mess with my J Rock. Let me tell you, it's gonna be a sad day for that person that ever mess with my baby. My brother Andre said day and night over the past 2 years. Awesome, man. I love it. I love it. I love it. That's awesome, man. Progress, baby. So talk to me, you all. Tonight is going to be a little more discussion. I want to really hear from you all in the chat room. Have you thought about your purpose? Have you thought about your niche? Okay, so here we go. Tamara says, my purpose is helping single moms. That's awesome. And single women. I love that. That is phenomenal. And you know what? That's a huge market that can really pinpoint some very specific concerns for people that are out there. There are a lot of single women out there, that's for sure. And then there are definitely a lot of single moms. So, you know, that's something that you can talk to people about, you know, building and becoming the best version of themselves as they go out and, you know, discover life and discover whoever their soulmate or God mate or whatever it is. That's phenomenal. So a few things that we have here is, and continue to throw those thoughts in the chat box in terms of your purpose, what niche you're going to go after. But I'm going to go into the material here. So we've got here, where does your brand reach? Does your brand reach locally? Does it reach regionally, coastal, bi-coastal, national, international? And then you want to ask yourself, who does your brand reach? Is it a certain age group? Is it a certain gender? Obviously, Tamara is more focused on women, right? So it's a gender. Is there a race and ethnicity that you're reaching out to? Is there a socioeconomic status? Is there a certain location that you're reaching out to? And then you want to ask yourself this: how does your brand reach? Are you going through more traditional mailers? Are you going through an email database, social media? I can tell you, Janice and I, a large part of our brand reach is through social media and television. Through social media and television is really where majority of our followers come from. And the followers that reach us on television, we lead them right to our social media pages. We don't even send them directly to our website. We send them to our social media pages. And then from that, obviously, you have referrals and word of mouth. Your brand begins to grow. So you want to think about, hey, where's your niche? What's your, you know, what's that thing that really connects you? So Talani says it's almost impossible to not think about it, especially after taking these courses. That's awesome. I love it. I love it. I love it. And Talani, I know you're from writing your purpose, girl. I know you're right in that thing. And so keep up the great work. Donna said couples and relationships. That's awesome. That's what now we got J Rock in the building.
Hi, everybody. Excuse me. Happy Monday. I wanted to also say that, you know, thanks for all this great feedback in the chat, and thank you for the great welcome, Mr. Rockman. What I was going to say also is, you know, if you're a little curious about what your purpose is, think about what you're passionate about. Take some time to think about What is it that when you see it or you hear about it or you talk about it or you think about it, it moves you greatly? Hi, Donna. Thank you. Whether it be moving you greatly to tears, moving you to compassion, moving you to anger, moving you to curiosity to where you want to help research a cure or an answer or resources for a certain problem in the world. What is the problem in this world that you specifically were created to solve and to resolve? And oftentimes that is a clue to your purpose. Those are the success clues, right? Um, when I was little, I was like, I can think back to like 4 and 5 years old. I always would study and analyze people. I would just watch people interact. When we have family, like New Year's Day dinner or, Christmas breakfast or whatever event we would have in our family, I would always watch the social interactions of my grandparents and my aunts and my uncles and my cousins and my siblings. And I would say, oh, I bet you maybe she acts like this because of the way her mom raised her. And I bet you this person is so kind to that person because they really helped them out. Or this person seems like they have a little bit of bitterness because of something that maybe happened years ago. I always was analyzing people specifically related to relationships and family and marriage. And this is the way I've thought. It's just, it's instinctive that I thought this way. Um, and as a matter of fact, like in kindergarten, I had a make-believe imaginary office. It was supposed to be like a psychology or counseling office. It was outside of our house on the curb, on the curb of the street, off the sidewalk. And I would have my friends come and sit down to my office and talk to me about their problems, And so I've always thought in terms of relationships and therapy and counseling and that kind of thing. And so to this day now, the work that we do, our entire business is relationship rescue. And through the Rockman Institute, we offer courses throughout the year that help you rescue your relationship, whether it be your relationship with yourself, your own self-image, the way that you think and feel about yourself, your relationship with God, with your source, with creator, your relationship with your parents, your siblings, your family of origin, your coworkers, your neighbors, your spouse, partner, significant other, your children. It's all about rescuing relationships. That is our work. And, finishing my work in graduate school for, as a marriage and family therapist. So I'm just giving an example that early on, those success clues will come, and you might like certain TV shows about certain things. You might want to read certain articles about certain things, and things that, again, that anger you, move you to great joy or great anger, are usually kind of a little giveaway to what your purpose and your passion is. And I'm telling you, when you are doing something that you're passionate about, it's like you never work another day. When I do coaching sessions or therapy sessions with clients, I have to watch myself not to go over time. And those of you that have done a coaching session with me one-on-one before, that's true. I'm like, whoa, we're 10 minutes over, we're 5 minutes over, because I enjoy what I'm doing. It's not like working. So think about, again, as Rockman was saying, does your brand reach locally, regionally, coastally, in other words, like the East Coast, the West Coast, nationally or internationally? And I would encourage you to consider, before you say, I'm going to go global, before you say I'm going to go national. And this is something our publicist taught us, because we were always like everywhere else other than in our own local area. She said, saturate your area first, saturate your community first. So in other words, saturate Brooklyn first, saturate Detroit first, saturate Tampa first, saturate Austin first. And then after you saturate this area, go throughout your region. So like us being in Texas, for example, that would be like the surrounding, tri-state area, the cities like San Antonio, Houston, Dallas, so on and so forth. And then regionally, that would be the surrounding states around us. And then, coastally, get the whole Southwest and West Coast, and then nationally, and then if you desire, internationally. And everyone's not supposed to do all of them, and you don't have to feel like you do. You just really want to make an impact where you are. So become a person within your community, an agent of change where you are. Saturate your area first. Yes, Tamara. Saturate your area first. Our publicist said that. And you know what? I want to share with you really transparently. Thank you, Donna, and hi to everybody who said hi to me. You all are so great. You all make us feel like such rock stars. Hi. I want to say something to be transparent. I am a social introvert. Okay. So we've learned a lot about motivational gifts. We talked about planning styles. We talked a little bit about love languages. But if you are an introverted person, you recharge by having time by yourself. You get a kick out of having quiet alone time, and being around a lot of people for extended periods of times, or having to have lots of phone conversations, even doing webinars, it can start to drain you. Whereas if you're an extrovert, you gain your sense of energy and empowerment through interactions with other people. You crave being around other people. You crave interacting with people, talking on the phone, being out and about, doing public events. So I said that to say, a part of the reason that I didn't want to saturate my local area, just being totally honest with you, was because I kind of enjoyed not being that well known. I mean, people will recognize us when we go to the grocery store and stuff like that.
But you are well known.
But anyway, my point is, though, I was like, it would be nice to just have a little city or a little community where people don't really know me, and I can just kind of stay in the backdrop and just kind of be quiet. And you know what, though? Sometimes, as a part of your assignment in life, it requires giving up a little bit of your comfort, and sometimes a lot of bit of your comfort. And so once I gave that up and said, you know what, I'm going to say yes to the full process, whatever that may take, it's like now, saturating Austin has been our agenda, and I'm okay with it and I'm comfortable with it. So just find out why sometimes you may gravitate toward one reach or another. It may not just be about who you want to touch. You may be working through some of your own things like I was. Okay. So then also think about your age, gender, race, ethnicity, socioeconomic status, and your location. And so, age group, your target might be first through fifth graders, like elementary school, or it may be college students, or you may be, 35 to 55, married, single. Think about gender, whether it's male or female or both. Think about race and ethnicity. Think about socioeconomic status. Or is it more so lower income, middle income, or upper income? And then think about the location that they're in. And as you're doing this is going to help you with the content that you're creating, the services, the products, and how you market yourself. All right, so identify your niche, and don't be afraid to evolve and let that grow as you go. Don't feel like you have to know everything right now. The more you work in it, the clearer you'll become. So don't have perfection paralysis.
And I want to touch on that perfection paralysis, as my wife had spoken. I believe I've mentioned this in one of our previous sessions as well. But the whole deal with perfection paralysis, right? It's this thing of like, things have to be absolutely perfect before I launch out. And, I don't know if I mentioned this on my last class that I had or within this course, but I always speak about a gentleman that I know where, he had products that he was working on branching out with, and I wound up buying his products. But once I got the products, they weren't excellent. They weren't perfect. There were glitches and things that he was doing, and some of the DVDs just weren't to the quality that I thought they would be. But case in point, number one, the information was there, and the information was really good. And number two, his DVD was in my DVD player. What does that mean? He got his product out, right? It was outside of him and in my hands, right? And how many of us have had ideas? I've mentioned it before, and I'm going to say it again. How many of us have had ideas that we waited and we waited and we waited, and then eventually we went somewhere and said, I thought of that. Like, I thought of that. That's my idea, right? How many of us has that happened to? Now is the time to make your vision a must. Now is the time to make your purpose a must. And now is the time, get this, now is the time to not be perfect. I'll say that again. Now is the time to not be perfect, but now is the time to just get out there and start doing. Now is the time for taking action. And when I say taking action, I mean taking massive action. Someone said this, Tony Robbins taught me this. One of my great mentors taught me this. He said, don't ever leave the spot of setting a goal, setting a vision without taking some form of action immediately after setting the goal, setting a vision, immediately after, always take some action towards that goal. Immediately after, put something in progress, whether it be making a phone call or making a deposit. We've had people in the past who've taken this course that, in the past, maybe they couldn't, pay for the whole course, but they were like, I must take this course. And so they would reach out to us and they would say, hey, how can we work on making this happen? And we made it happen. Let me tell you something. We will never turn any individual down that wants to take this course. We've never said, you know what, no, that's not going to work out. We will not turn anyone down. Why is that? Number one, because we're here to change lives. That's what we do. That's who we are. And number two, you never know what you can implement in someone else's life. And then number three, hopefully one day that person will pay it forward as well. Brother KC says, I love this story you're telling, and I've been busy making my vision a must, like you said. Now is the time. That's right, man. Now, everybody put in the chat box, now is the time. And I want you to say it as you're typing. Now is the time. And then I want you to type again, now is my time. Now is the time, and now is my time. Tyler says, I love that. Now is the time to not being perfect. Listen, if everything was perfect, the only one that's perfect, and I know this isn't a spiritual webinar, but the only one that's perfect is our Father in heaven. That's it. There's nothing else that's perfect, right? Stop waiting for everything to be perfect and just get out there and start doing. I I told you all before, when Janice and I released our first book, there were so many typos in it where people were calling us saying, hey, you got typos in your book. And we were like, hey, thanks. We'll consider that, right? But you know what? They were reading my book. Right? Now, I'm not saying that to brag, because I hope you all know our spirit now. We're not the bragging type. But the point is, get your product out there. Now, maybe we could have done a little more due diligence and made sure there were no typos in there. But I'm just about getting things out. Get it off of me and get it out into the atmosphere. Now is the time, folks. So we're talking about infrastructure, setting up shop, right? So, we're talking about office hours, bank accounts, insurance in terms of setting up your business, your coaching practice, whatever it is you're going to do to take this to the next level, right? So you want to establish some weekly office hours and times. So we talked about setting up shop and starting with your vision or whatever the case may be. But now it's time to begin to put that in order. Like, if you do, most people, while they're pursuing their vision, will have a 9 to 5, a job, or whatever the case may be, which is okay. And maybe your job is your vision, and maybe growing up the corporate ladder is your vision. That's okay, whatever it is. But what time are you setting aside to work towards your vision? What time are you setting aside to say, okay, this is the time, these are the hours that I'm going to work on my purpose. I'm going to work on my destiny. Mm-hmm. Do you have something to do?
And don't be afraid to make that. I mean, it doesn't have to be, especially if you're currently maybe like a full-time parent and stay at home and maybe have multiple children that require much of your attention, or maybe you're working a full-time job or a couple of jobs, don't be afraid to make those office hours just Tuesdays and Thursdays. You know, from
it could be 1 day a week.
It could be 1 day a week. Like Rob just said, it could be Wednesdays, you know, from 5 p.m. until 10 p.m.
Set that time and stick to it.
6 p.m. until 9 p.m. Or, you know, maybe Saturdays you have a weekend day where you get in early, you start at 7 a.m. and you finish at noon or something. But set the time, stick to it. You can adjust it as the years go by, but you have to let people know when to expect to be able to engage with you. So, you know, sometimes when people get into business for themselves or they start an outreach, they're like, gosh, I'm just working around the clock. People are calling me all times of night. I'm texting and emailing and doing, you know, postings all times of night and things like that. Well, people are contacting you at all times and any time because you haven't given them your rules of engagement. You haven't set an expectation for them. They don't know when they can reach you, you know? And so even in our personal lives, we teach people how to treat us, but this is true in our business lives as well. So make sure you take the time to actually put your office hours in your email signature line and on your voicemail, so that when people call you and contact you by email or voicemail, they have an expectation. You can put them on your social media page too. There's a place where you can put your hours of operation. And this way you don't feel that you are married to your business or your outreach or whatever it is, and like you can never let it go. Like I know so many entrepreneurs that they went into entrepreneurship for freedom, but then they feel like they're tied down because they feel like they have to always be on and always be working. And you absolutely do not. Okay, so in terms of setting up your phones, if you don't want to use your personal phone, you can also set up a Google line, a Google Voice line. That's really easy to use. It's free. There's also more sophisticated applications like Ring Central. I really like Ring Central. This has an app that you can actually put on your mobile phone or your smart device if you like. And it'll give you your own business phone number. It takes voice messages for you. It'll send you automatic email messages every time you get a voice message. And it also has some really nice other features that you can add on, like if you want to have an answering service or things like that. And this way it kind of helps to separate you a little bit from your personal phone, because I'm big on like boundaries. Because I come from a family of entrepreneurs. I'm a fourth generation entrepreneur, and I've seen so many people work themselves to the bone around the clock. I mean, it's like their children can't ever spend time with them because they constantly have that phone glued to them. But this way, if you set some of these things up, this will help you to have what we like to call balance. I think in the Greek, it's homeostasis. All right, and Tamara says, thanks for being transparent. At least you got it out.
Oh, that's what I said.
Oh, yeah. Okay, you said that about the book. Yeah. And then Google Voice is the first thing I did years ago. LOL. Yeah, good. So set those things up. Don't be afraid to set that up. Have a separate business email. People know if they want to reach me by personal, email me here. If they want to reach me business, email me there. That way I know, like I'm trying to check those emails every 20, and reply within 24 hours. I don't have to sort through all that. Anything I open up on the Relationship Rescue email, I know it's going to be something about business.
Yep. And so we also, did you mention setting up your bank accounts? And so you also want to make sure if you're going to take this coaching practice or whatever it is that you're looking to do, or whatever, if you are going to be setting up a business, set up a business bank account. I mean, make this authentic, right? Set up a business bank account. Make sure you have your insurance in place to cover, any of those things out there that, could be a concern. And then you also want to make sure you establish an EIN, an employee identification number. A business needs an EIN in order to pay employees and to file business tax returns. We just got finished doing that for different employees that we work with, and we had to submit W-2s and all that kind of stuff. It's fun, right? And then go ahead.
I was going to say, and it's fun doing it the right way, and it's worth it to do it the right way. Our accountant was saying, it's really good you all are doing this properly now. So she's like, if you ever want to do anything down the road in a very public way, these kinds of things can come up. She gave an example of someone like in the 1970s. She was running for vice president. It was a woman, I forget her name, but she was running for vice president of the United States. But she didn't pay I think the way it goes is that she didn't pay
She didn't pay her employees.
her nanny.
Yeah, she has some nannies working for her.
Properly, like she didn't file it, through the government.
It was under the table.
It was under the table, and she ended up losing the vice presidency of the United States of America for something she had not done 10, 15 years earlier. It just seemed like a little thing. So, as Rockman often says, big doors swing on small hinges, and so the little things do matter. It doesn't mean you'll do everything right away, and it doesn't mean you'll do everything right away, but at least get those feet moving, get those pens and papers out, and make a punch list for yourself and just knock it out. We've got one up right now. It's like, okay, this is what we want to accomplish, and these are the dates that we're going to accomplish it by, and we both signed it at the bottom.
Yep, there you go. So make sure you get that infrastructure set up, and then think about if you want to set up as a sole proprietorship, an LLC, a limited liability corporation. Even if you want to set up as a 501c3, there are lots of cool things that you can do in terms of establishing your business, but you want to make sure you do it properly.
And depending on how you want to protect yourself legally will depend on which one you choose. So make sure you look into that. Have a little conversation with a banker, have a conversation with your accountant. The LLC, limited liability corporation, is a really good option if you want to protect yourself, protect your name legally. And they can give you more information about that. I think it's like about $449 to do the LLC. The EIN is completely free, so that's at least a good place to start.
Yes.
And you can look into the other options in terms of setting up your business, corporation, or outreach as well.
Awesome. So let's step into the next portion, talking about communication and leadership. Now, let me tell you something. The only way that you are going to grow in life, the only way you can build a business, the only way you can build your vision, build your passion, we have to be able to have effective communication and some leadership ability. And these are things that can be developed. These are things that can be. These are things that you can grow. That you can, work towards having more effectiveness within this area, communication and leadership. And many of you have heard this saying, about an individual having, quote unquote, the gift of gab, right? But most people that you see going to a higher level, whether it be in business, whether it be in, rising up the corporate ladder, whether it be, whatever it is, they were effective communicators. Ask yourself, am I an effective communicator? Can I sit down with someone and close a deal? Can I sit down with someone and sell myself? Can I sell my services? This all stems from having effective communication. Now, we got a couple bullet points here. Number one, you can't be afraid to have the hard conversations. As you're building, as you're growing, as you're implementing whatever it is that your passion is, part of having that effective communication, and this isn't a sum total of everything, but you can't be afraid to have the hard conversation. And then also making sure you ask for what you need, whether it be in a relationship, whether it be in whatever it is, be very clear about what it is that you need.
Yeah, like when you're negotiating numbers, or if you're doing public speaking, or if you're doing private coaching, don't be afraid to state what your rate is. Before you do that, do some research and find out what the market rate is for where you are. For example, one-on-one coaching here in Austin is about $85 to $95 a session, which is the same that a therapist or psychologist charge for the most part. But if you are in New York or Los Angeles, that might be $150 per session. So you want to find out what the going rate is in your area. And then don't be afraid to boldly go where no man has gone. No, but really, don't be afraid to ask for what you need. A lot of times we're taught in life, growing up, to be such people pleasers and just go along, just go with the flow, and, be diplomatic and be polite, and, don't really say what you feel, don't disrupt anybody, state what it is that you need. As well as if you're working with someone and you need more clarity or more information, Or if you need more time, this is one that has gotten me caught up a few times where it's like, oh my goodness, I'm not going to be able to finish this particular project or report on time. And I would get so nervous about turning it in late when I could just say, you know what, I need more time. So don't be afraid to ask for what you need. Even as it relates to rest, doing this maternity leave, this is the longest maternity leave I've ever done. It's been 6 months and it's been great. And I need it every day and week and hour of it. But even before I went on to maternity leave, I already had clients asking, when are you going to be back to do therapy? You're going to be gone for 6 months? And we had some people that want us to come do speaking engagements, or when are you going to get back on TV? And I'm like, not until the 6 months is up. I need rest. I need time to readjust to having a new human being in the house and having a family of 5. I need quiet, and so that's another example of asking for what you need. On the next bullet point, it says stay away from blame and problem-focused dialogues and create solution-focused conversations. And I like this term, solution-focused. It's actually a type of therapy even that's practiced, solution-focused therapy. In other words, you can go by the water cooler or to the coffee station and talk all day about what's going on with the company or how this should change or that should change or how you don't like this or don't like that. In your own relationship, you can talk about, well, we just need to do this and we need to communicate more and we need to have more intimacy and we need to do a better job saving our money, or we need to do differently with the children, or whatever it is. You could identify the problem, but then let's talk about the solution as well. And especially when you're in a meeting space amongst team members, if you can identify the problem, also be ready to offer a solution. Okay, that way you're not. Has anyone ever been around somebody that every time they raise their hand or they say something, you almost know they're gonna be talking about a problem? Like, we just need to do this. We just need to change that. But how great would it be if that person would say, you know what, I noticed we're having a problem with this, and here's an idea. This may not be the idea that works or that solves everything, but at least I'm coming with something. So solution-focused conversations. That doesn't mean you're in denial. It means that you're aware of the challenges, you're aware of the problems and the issues, but you also are aware that if you were able to recognize it, you also have the capability, awareness, wisdom, and resources to resolve it. Adopt a servant leadership style. So, I've often said I don't like people to put me on a pedestal because I don't do good balancing on pedestals. In other words, this model that it's not that I'm above you and we're over you and
Right with you.
What are some other terms that people just have a lot of terms to where there's this hierarchy, and we really see ourselves as the greater service that we can give, the greater that we can be servants and be relatable and be people that people feel that they can connect to and identify with. That's going to be inspiring in itself. So when people say, oh, you guys have this great relationship or this great family or this great this or that or business, we're just like, you know what, we're everyday people living extraordinary lives by God's grace, and just not giving up on each other and not giving up on him, And so it's just in other words, what we have done, you can do, and a whole lot more for that matter. So it's not like we always say we're not that cool. But anyway, so the more that you can serve people, thank you. How can you find ways to serve? How can you find ways to be of service? How can you find ways to give and be of advantage and not look for ways to take advantage, right? Use your influence wisely. Use the power or the empowerment that you have wisely. And you never want to misuse that.
And the sign of true leadership is if you are also developing other leaders.
Yeah.
Right? And
being able to replicate yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Very good point. And then finally, and I heard one of my sisters say this actually before, learn every aspect of your business before you hire someone to do the task for you. And sometimes we're so quick to want to bring people on and I just need help, I just need help, I just need help. And it doesn't mean that you don't need help, because perhaps you do. But learn about the mailroom, learn about the PowerPoints, learn about the how to create the databases and the spreadsheets. Learn about how to set up the mic and the product tables. Learn about how to do the cold calls and find people that may want to use a product or service. Learn every aspect of it, because for one, it's going to help you train the next person so much better because you know what it takes. But also, it's going to give you so much more confidence, because then you don't just have a bunch of people doing things for you that you really have no idea how to do yourself. At least get some of those basic fundamentals. And then after you get those fundamentals in, you've been doing that for a while, then you can start to bring other people in. And as I've heard Russell Simmons say, he likes to surround himself with people that are smarter than he is. So in other words, you don't have to have all the answers and all the solutions, for everything that comes up. Find people that are gifted in specific areas and then let them soar and let them fly. And we don't believe in like hoarding people. We're always like, what is your bigger purpose, your divine purpose? We don't want to try and keep you all to ourselves. We want you to be on this journey with us for as long as you are destined to be, whether that be long term or short term. And so that's really important as well. So learn every aspect of your business before you hire someone to do the task for you. It'll make you a more competent leader.
Oh, absolutely. And just be a master of your business. Like, understand the facets in and out. Understand, what, like, I'll give you a great example. Someone asked when McDonald's was really blowing up, someone asked them, or the CEO at the time asked, "What business do you think we're in?" And he asked one of his associates that question, "What business do you think we're in?" He was like, "Well, we're in the restaurant business, we're in the burger business, we do this, we do that." And he said, "You know what? That's true. That's part of our business, but really, we're in the real estate business." And he was like, "The real estate business? What are you talking about?" And what he meant by that was, if you look around at any McDonald's, they're in the best location. I mean, they're in like prime locations. And he understood his business down to the point to know at the core of his business, he was really in the real estate business, finding those specific locations that were better than anyone else. Which, I mean, if you look at McDonald's, which I don't eat McDonald's, but they are one of the largest food chains across the nation. And the root of that is they find great locations.
Yeah. And I'm so glad you talked about that. That's a great story. And in addition to that, think about McDonald's marketing versus Cracker Barrel, for example. Okay, so has everyone been to both McDonald's and Cracker Barrel at some point? If you have, just type yes. Yes, yep, yeah, whatever. Let me know. Okay, so Rock was just talking about McDonald's and their real estate. It's like you can drive down the street or drive down the freeway, and pretty much every couple of exits, there's going to be a McDonald's that pops up, or a McDonald's sign that you can go and dine there. And their whole message and their whole mission is to provide fast food, inexpensive food. It has the whole dollar millionaire thing where you can order pretty much anything
for $1.
For $1. So it's fast, it's quick, it's inexpensive. At one time, they were even timing the people at the drive-thru. Like, if you didn't get through the drive-thru within 2 minutes or a minute or something like that, you would get your meal for free. So that's the connotation that you get when you think about McDonald's. And the fact that, or in most cases, you might be kind of hungry after you eat it, very shortly after, but it's going to be like quick, inexpensive, in a hurry. On the contrast, Cracker Barrel, if you've ever been to a Cracker Barrel, and it looks like most of you have, it's always set far back off. Yeah, it's hard to find. It's far back off the main road. It'll be a sign for it, but
that's all Cracker Barrel.
That's all Cracker Barrels in any place we've ever been. But then once you get there, you have to kind of drive down the road and over the bend and through the woods. Grandma's house we go, right? And
that old country store.
It's that old country store. And when you walk up, there's rocking chairs out there. There's chess boards or checkers boards. When you walk in, they've got the little like candles and like jam and pots and pans and little cute trinkets that you can buy. And when you sit down, there's a fireplace and a newspaper, and they have all these hearty home cooked kind of meals, breakfasts and dinners and lunches. And it takes a lot longer to get through there. I mean, just you have to wait in line just to get through there, and then the service is a lot slower. But they have newspapers and rocking chairs out and checkerboards. Obviously, they want you to come and stay and kick up your feet. So do you see how they both are in the food services industry? But the way that they market themselves, the way that they position themselves is completely different. And the entire feeling and connotation that you get with each is totally different. So that's just an example of how you set yourself up, how you brand yourself, who you're aiming to reach. You have to present yourself in that way. And their price point is higher as well. So, in talking about tenacity, tact, grit, and follow through, there is a fortune in your follow through. There's a fortune in your follow through.
Right. Absolutely. So this is what we're going to leave you all with tonight. Once again, tenacity, tact, grit, and follow through. We have to be tenacious about what it is that we're going after. And there's fortune in your follow through, right? How many of us have not succeeded in something that we were pushing for, that we were striving for, because we just didn't make that one extra phone call that we needed to make? How many of us have had opportunities, but you just never sent that last email? You never got back with that person. And I always think about this. Many of you all have seen the what's the name of that movie? It's a Wonderful Life, right? Where, he wants to get out of town. He has all these dreams and he wants to travel the world, and, he wants to make $1 million, right? And so he's going after all these things. But then what happens? All these different circumstances come up that stop him from getting to his desired place, all these different things. Then he has a friend who says, hey, I want you, hey, I got this business that I'm starting, or this opportunity, and hey, I want you to get involved with this opportunity with me, right? And then what happens from that opportunity, he winds up not really connecting with the friend on the opportunity. So to make a long story short, this friend goes on and does whatever it is that he's doing. And toward the end of the movie, the friend shows back up, right? And he's like balling. He rolls up in like a Rolls Royce of that time. And, they're fly. They got their mink coats on and everything. And then the main character, which right now the main character's name slips my mind, he's just going through just some crazy mess, and he's lost the money for all the deposits, and they scrambling trying to figure out how they're gonna get this money, and someone else, I mean, it's just crazy, right? So then his friend comes in and saves the day in the end, like, hey man, that business I told you about that I was starting, man, we hit it big. And man, they were balling out of control. George Bailey, yeah. Yeah, George Bailey, right? So they wind up hitting it big. And so the main character wound up in the end, so many people gave to him, he became, one of the richest guys in town. And, every time a bell rang, an angel got his wings and everything, right? But what's the moral of the story? Had he followed through with his friend that had that huge opportunity, what would his life have been, right? Think about yourself. What opportunities have you missed out on? What things have you just not followed through on? Had you done it, you'd be in a completely different place in your life right now. Now, here's the thing. Rewind. We're not going to should on ourselves, okay? We're not going to get into the shoulds. But what are we going to do? We're going to do some things differently starting today, right? So we are going to start following up and following through and taking advantage of those things that we see are right there sitting in front of our face that are for us. Let me tell you something. Whatever it is that you're praying for, whatever it is that Whatever, everyone has something in their life that they wish was a little different, that they wish could turn around. Let me tell you something. It's not that far away from you. It's just a matter of a couple little things, a few more phone calls, a little bit more follow through, a little bit more communicate. It's just it's so not that far from you. It's so within reach that you wouldn't believe it. And you know, there's this old saying: "What's the easiest way to hide something from someone? Is put it right in front of their face." So we're talking about tenacity, tact, grit, and follow through. So if you're not getting any no's, you may not be asking enough people. No is a part of the process. And Donna says, NOW, now, no opportunity wasted is what a friend of mine says. I love that. No opportunity wasted, right? Go after it. And then let me ask you this. How many of you, now I have the feeling that maybe 90% of you all have some sort of vision in terms of starting, whether it be your own coaching practice or have some sort of business in mind that you're wanting to launch or wanting to do, or whether it be your job, you're looking at some sort of increase, some sort of promotion. Type yes if that is you. Now, with that being said, I'm going to say this. If you're not getting any no's, you may not be asking enough people. Are you really, ask yourself, are you really out there being tenacious about what it is that you want? Are you really asking people to buy into whatever it is that you are doing? Now, I can tell you right now, Janice and I, we love the work that we're doing. You guys, you've heard me say that 1,000 times. And we'll do it for free. But there's nothing wrong with building There is nothing wrong with building income from something that you are passionate about. There's nothing wrong with that. And matter of fact, there's everything right with that, because we all have to make a living. And why not make a living doing something that you absolutely love to do? And the problem is, the thing that comes easiest to you is usually the thing that you won't charge anyone for. Start charging people for your gift, because you deserve it and they deserve it. I'll say that again. You deserve it and they deserve it. So if you're not getting any no's, you're not reaching out to enough people. If you haven't heard no a few times a week, you need to start getting out there a little bit more. And then here, you never know. So keep digging. You could just be 3 feet from gold. There's this old story that I tell, and I love this story. And this is a true story. It's about a gentleman, and this was during the gold rush. And there's a gentleman who bought during the large gold rush. And he was on that land and he was digging for gold and he was prospecting and he was out there, really trying to make it happen. Like, man, I'm going to be the guy that finds gold. Like, I know this is California. It's the gold rush. I know there's gold out here. I'm going to take this land. I'm going to buy this land and I'm going to find gold on this land. And so he dug and he dug and he dug and he searched that land for gold. Well, he wound up having some other opportunities come up available to him, and he just felt like, you know what, man, I've been digging for so long, and he hadn't found any gold. He hadn't, he found a few little pieces, but he wound up losing the vein of gold that he had, and just wasn't able to discover anymore. And so he wound up, and he had a bunch of equipment that he was using on the land. He wound up selling all of his equipment. So he sold all his equipment to a gentleman, and then he went out and, did whatever he was going to do. And I'm going to come back to him in just a second. So the new gentleman who owned the land said, man, the other guy had a feeling there was a lot of gold in this land. And you know what? I had a feeling about that as well. But you know what? I'm going to bring in a land surveyor, and I'm going to have someone come in who understands land. And, this guy's been digging for a while. He pretty much left his equipment right where it was. But let me have this guy come out who knows how to survey this land. So he had a land surveyor come out. And so the land surveyor, he looked at the fault lines and kind of, understood kind of like where to find that vein of gold. And he said, you know what? Based on the fault lines that I see, looks like if you dig about 3 feet over, right in this area, you should find a vein of gold. If just about 3 feet over, he was digging here, but it looked like you need to be about 3 feet over. And let's see what that does for you. Well, lo and behold, that guy started digging 3 feet from where the other gentleman had left everything and went on and did whatever it was that he was going to do in his life. And I'm going to come back to him in just a second, because there's a part of his story as well. There's another part to his story as well. So he moved the equipment 3 feet over and started digging. And what happened? He found, this is a true story, he found the largest vein of gold, the largest gold strike in the history of the gold rush. I mean, he made ridiculous amounts of money, right? Millions of dollars for that time. Just 3 feet away from gold. And so they did a big story on this guy. And the gentleman that sold that land and sold that equipment, he saw that story and he was heartbroken. And he said, you telling me I was just 3 feet away from gold, from the largest gold rush in history? But what did that gentleman do? He went into the insurance business. And from him being involved in the insurance business, in that industry, he became one of the most successful insurance writers of his time. He was one of the first individuals to write $1 million worth of insurance within a single year, which was huge during that time. And there was an interview that was done on this guy, and he said the reason that he was so successful in the new industry that he had found was because he said, I'll never stop short of my goal ever again in my life. And what did that do to them? That gave him so much tenacity and follow through that he lost something on this side, but he said, you know what? I will never lose that again. And he became the most tenacious insurance salesman of his time. And he was very successful because he said, I'll never let that happen to me again. How close are you to your goal? How long have you been digging? How long have you been pushing? How long have you been praying? How long have you been reaching out for that thing that you are destined to do? You're closer than you think. And sometimes it's just that minor adjustment that you need to make. It's not major. Maybe you're just 3 feet away. All you have to do is keep digging. All you have to do is make that minor adjustment and keep going, and you will hit your ultimate purpose. You will hit your ultimate goal. Just keep going. Don't give up. And when you show up in the fullness of who you are created to be, the people who are assigned to you will recognize you when you show up. There are people that are assigned to you that will help you get to your destination, but they have to see you doing your work. You have to stay in your process. I tell you, stay in your process, folks, and never give up. Any thoughts, any comments, any takeaways tonight? We've covered a lot of information. We're right at the tail end of week 3. Share with me what you all think about this. Are you learning something? How close are you? I tell you, you're so close. You're so close, man. You're right there. It's only a matter of, I want you all to finish this sentence in the chat box. It's only a matter of, finish the sentence for me. It's only a matter of You're exactly right. Andre said, I can taste it. I'm so close. I love it. Learning, inspired, getting closer. Tamara, that's so good. Andre said, man, you guys went in tonight. That's right, Don. It's only a matter of time. Brother Andre said it's only a matter of persistence. I love that spin on that, man. I love that. You're absolutely right. Because you got to keep going, man. You got to keep pressing. You got to keep pushing. Yes, yes, yes. Tylenny said it's only a matter of time. Yes, I love it. Andre, thank you so much for that, man. He said we went in tonight. Yes, we try to go in every night, my brother. Donna said, wow, this is phenomenal. I love it. Thank you so much, you all. Thank you so much for the feedback. Andre said, and time, LOL. I love it. Hey, man, but I love that you put persistence, man. I think that's powerful. I love that you put that because you know what? That's true. It's only a matter of persistence. How much can you keep going? Kristen said it's only a matter of tenacity. I love it. It's only a matter of tenacity. How bad do you want it? Ask yourself, how bad do you want this? How bad do you want your purpose? How bad do you want your vision? How bad do you want your goal? How bad do you want to change? How bad do you want a good relationship? How bad do you want to have a great relationship with your children? How bad do you want love? How bad do you want peace? How bad do you want prosperity? How bad do you want love and connection? Like, how bad do you really want it? How bad do you want to give to other people? Like, how bad do you want it? Really? Like, because when you can discover how bad you want it and you discover your why, your reason why, then man, nothing can stop you. Nothing can stop you. So let's rock and roll. Let's rock and roll. Let's get out here and change the world for the better. Let's get out here and do something that people never thought you could do. Those people that doubted you, those people that laughed at you, those people, the how bads. Yeah, that's right, Ptolemy. The how bads. I love it. Like, but those people that talked about you, man, those people that doubted you, like, let's prove them all wrong. Now we don't, and you know, we don't want that to be our driving force, you know, to prove all the people wrong that doubted us. But man, doesn't it feel good when you prove somebody wrong, though? That when you showed them your vision and they were like, you thinking about doing that? Like, you want to be a life coach? Like, everybody say they life coaches, but you know what? None of them are gonna be like me. None of them will do it like me, the way I'm gonna do this thing. Donna said, this has truly been such a blessing. I feel empowered. Yes. All that. I love it. Tamara says. I love that, Tyler. And she said the how bad. That's right. How bad do you want? Absolutely. I'm trying to close. I'm trying to close here tonight. On tonight. Woo, I'm fired up, y'all. Let me tell you, I'm so fired up. Any last thoughts? Any last takeaways? Any questions, comments, anything that you all want to share before we wrap up tonight? And it's been a good night. Any final thoughts, comments, suggestions, something that you want to share with the group, a testimony, whatever it is. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, I want to congratulate you all. Don, I'm glad you're here, girl. She said she really needed this, and I'm so glad you're right here getting it in with us. So I want to congratulate you all on completing week 3 of 21 days to the life you love. J-Rock, you got any last? Week 3, baby. Thank you so much, Kristen. Thank you, Donna. Thank you so much. Thank you, Tamara. Thank you all. We appreciate you all so much. You just don't know how much we really appreciate you all. Woohoo! I hear you, Donna. I hear you, girl. Go ahead and do your thing. Let's get out there and change some lives, folks. Let's do it big. Thank you, Tamara. Thank you so much. Thank you, Brother KC, Brother Andre. Thank you, Talani. Thank you all for jumping on tonight. Thank you for being a part of the course.
Keep designing the life you love.
Keep designing the life you love.
Next week.
Till we see you next week. Be blessed. You can stay in here in the chat room and chat it out if you like. Otherwise, until next week, same bad time, same bad channel. Love y'all so much. Peace. Good night.